Earnie Shavers died the 1st of September 2022 at 78 years old. The Acorn, the Black Destroyer, the hardest puncher in boxing history. Muhammad Ali said it. George Foreman said it. Larry Holmes said it. Everyone who faced him said it. 74 wins. 68 knockouts. A 92% knockout ratio. One punch could end anyone. One shot could kill. The right hand that made champions quit before the opening bell. But before his death, sitting in his Ohio home, body broken from 89 professional fights, brain damaged from 33 years in the ring, Earnie Shavers confessed something nobody expected. I was scared. My whole career, I was scared. People saw the knockouts, the power, the destruction. But inside, I was terrified. Of 7 fighters, 7 men who could expose me. 7 opponents who could prove Earnie Shavers was just power, nothing else. 7 boxers who scared me so much, I avoided some, lost to others, and regretted all of them. The man who nearly killed Muhammad Ali in round 2, who dropped Larry Holmes, who knocked out 68 men. That man was hiding fear, real fear, paralyzing fear. Being scared doesn't make you weak, Shavers said at 78, months before his death. Being scared makes you human. And I was human, very human. Fighting men who could take my power and give it back. Fighting styles I couldn't solve. Fighting truths I didn't want to face. That power isn't enough. That one punch can't save you every time. That Earnie Shavers had 7 kryptonites, 7 fighters who scared me, really scared me. And I'm dying with that fear. Until right now. At 78, weeks before dying from complications of cancer and CTE, Earnie Shavers finally revealed the truth. 7 boxers who terrified him. 7 men who could beat him. 7 fighters who proved even the hardest puncher in history was scared of something. This is his deathbed confession. Number 7, George Foreman. They never fought. And Earnie Shavers was grateful. Because George Foreman was the one man whose power matched his own. When George Foreman's name came up in the 1,970 seconds, I said no immediately, Shavers confessed at 78. My people asked why. The money was huge. The fight made sense. 2 biggest punchers in heavyweight history. Perfect. But I said no, because I was scared, really scared. Not of losing. Of what would happen if George and I both landed clean. Someone was going to die. And it might be me. Foreman was 45 to 2 inches the mid-1,970 seconds. Destroyer. Olympic champion. The man who destroyed Joe Frazier and Ken Norton. The puncher who made champions quit. George was me, Shavers explained. Same style, same power, same mentality. Hit first, hit hard, hit often. But George was bigger. 6'3", 220 pounds. I was 6'0". 210 pounds. George had size, reach, youth. Everything I had, plus more. And I knew. If George and I fought, it's not boxing. It's Russian roulette. Someone's getting killed. And I didn't want it to be me. But the fear was deeper than just power. George represented what I was most scared of, Shavers admitted. That power versus power means whoever lands first wins. And that's not skill, that's luck. And I didn't want my career decided by luck, by who landed first, by a coin flip. I wanted to beat people, outbox them, outsmart them, not just outpunch them. And against George, there's no outboxing, just outpunching. And that scared me. Because what if George's punch is harder? What if George's chin is better? What if I land first and George doesn't go down? Then what? Then I'm in trouble. Big trouble. At 78, Shavers admitted the avoidance was intentional. I avoided George Foreman my whole career, Shavers said. Intentionally. Strategically. Intelligently. Because fighting George was all risk. No reward. If I win, people say, 2 punchers fought, someone had to win. If I lose, people say, Earnie got knocked out by George, told you he couldn't take a punch. No upside, all downside. So, I avoided George. And George avoided me. Because George was smart too. George knew, if we fight, one of us dies. And neither of us wanted to die. So, we stayed apart. And I'm grateful. Because at 78, looking back, I'm glad I never fought George Foreman. Glad I never tested whether my power was stronger than his. Glad I never found out if my chin could take his right hand. Because I don't think it could. And I'd rather die wondering than die knowing. Number 6. Joe Frazier. They never fought either. And Joe Frazier's style was Earnie Shavers' nightmare. When Joe Frazier's name came up, I panicked. Shavers confessed at 78. Joe was everything I couldn't handle. Pressure. Relentless pressure. Coming forward no matter what. Taking 3 punches to land 1. And that one punch being a left hook from hell? Joe's style kills my style? Because I need space, need distance, need time to load up my right hand? And Joe doesn't give you space, doesn't give you distance, doesn't give you time, just pressure, for 15 rounds. Frazier was 3-2-4, 1 inch, the mid-1000, 970 seconds, former champion, the man who beat Muhammad Ali, the warrior who never quit. Joe was tough, Shavers said. Not just skilled. Tough. Could take any punch. Could absorb bombs and keep coming. George Foreman hit Joe with everything in Jamaica 1973. Knocked him down 6 times. And Joe kept getting up. Kept getting up. That's not normal. That's not human. That's Joe Frazier. And I knew. My right hand can't stop Joe. Can't make him quit. Can't make him respect me. And if Joe doesn't respect my power, what do I have? Nothing. Just a puncher without a punch. That works. The style matchup terrified Shavers. Joe would have walked through my right hand, Shavers admitted. Maybe I drop him. Maybe I hurt him. But Joe would get up and keep coming and pressure me and take away my power and beat me up for 15 rounds. Because that's what Joe did. Beat up punchers. Made them uncomfortable. Made them panic. Made them quit or get stopped. And I would have been one of them. Earnie Shavers. Knocked out by Joe Frazier. Because Joe's pressure beat my power. Because toughness beat talent. Because I was scared of Joe Frazier. Scared of his chin. Scared of his heart. Scared of his left hook. Scared of everything. At 78, Shavers was honest about the fear. I was scared of Joe Frazier because Joe represented everything I couldn't beat. Pressure, toughness, heart, chin. I could knock out skilled fighters, could hurt defensive fighters, could destroy anyone who gave me space. But Joe? Joe doesn't give space. Joe takes space, takes your will, takes your soul. And I didn't want Joe taking mine. So I'm glad we never fought. Glad I never had to test my power against Joe's chin. Glad I never had to feel Joe's left hook. Because I've seen what Joe's left hook does. And I didn't want it doing that to me. Number 5. Jerry Quarry. They fought once, the 23rd of April, 1973, New York. Shavers knocked out Quarry in 1 round. 2 minutes, 13 seconds. But before the fight, Shavers was terrified. When they made the Jerry Quarry fight, I couldn't sleep for weeks. Shavers confessed at 78. Jerry was 5'3", former top contender, Irish warrior, tough as nails, cut easily, but never quit. And I was scared. Not of Jerry's power, of Jerry's chin, of what would happen if my best punch didn't stop him. If Jerry took my right hand and kept coming, then what? Then Earnie Shavers is exposed, as just a puncher, with nothing else. Quarry was everything Shavers feared. Tough, experienced, fearless, a warrior who'd fought Ali, Frazier, and Foreman. Jerry had been in with everyone, Shavers explained. Ali, Frazier, Foreman, all the best. And Jerry survived. Lost to all of them, but survived. Made it to the final bell against Ali. Gave Frazier hell. Even fought Foreman and lasted. That's tough, really tough. And I thought, What if Jerry survives my punch? What if Jerry takes my best shot and just bleeds and keeps coming? What if I can't stop the Irish warrior? Then I'm done. My reputation is done. My mystique is done. Fight night, Shavers caught Quarry early. 1 round. Knockout. When I knocked Jerry out in round 1, I felt relief, Shavers admitted. Not pride, relief. Because my worst fear didn't happen. Jerry didn't survive. Jerry didn't take my punch and keep coming. Jerry went down and stayed down. And my secret was safe. The secret that I was scared, that I needed the knockout, that without it, I'm just Earnie Shavers, limited puncher with no plan B. But the fear remained for his entire career. After Jerry, I was still scared, Shavers said at 78. Because Jerry proved nothing. Just proved I could knock out a 5-3-9-4 fighter in 1 round. But what about the next tough guy? What about the next Jerry Quarry? What if he doesn't go down? What if my power doesn't work? That fear followed me for 20 years, until I retired. Until I died. The fear that one day, someone would take my best punch and prove Earnie Shavers is just a right hand? Nothing more? Number 4. Ken Norton. They fought once. The 24th of September, 1979, Las Vegas, WBC heavyweight title eliminator. Shavers was losing for 6 rounds, then landed the right hand, round 8 stoppage. But Shavers was terrified the entire fight. When they made the Ken Norton fight, former champion, great body, great jab, awkward style, everything I struggled against, and for 6 rounds, Ken was beating me. I'm going to lose to Ken Norton and never get another title shot. And I was scared, really scared. Norton was the boxer, the stylist, the man who broke Ali's jaw. Everything Shavers wasn't. Ken was boxing me, Shavers explained. Not fighting, boxing. Good right hand. Ken's legs went, and I attacked, trying to finish, trying to get the stoppage. And Ken, from trying to knock out Ken Norton. And I thought, I'm done. Ken's going to survive. Ken's going to outbox me the rest of the fight. Ken's going to win. And I'm going to lose. And never fight for the title. Round 8 changed everything. Felt like I'd won the lottery, Shavers admitted at 78. Not like I'd won a fight. Like I'd won the lottery. Because I was losing. And that scared me for the rest of my career. At 78, Shavers revealed his deepest fear about Norton. I was scared of Ken Norton because Ken showed me the truth. That I'm limited. That 3. Jimmy Young. They fought once. The 17th of November, 1977, Buffalo, New York. Jimmy Young won unanimous decision. Made Shavers look foolish for 12 rounds. When they made the Jimmy Young fight, I should have said no. Shavers confessed at 78. Jimmy was 3-4, 3-2, the slickest heavyweight alive, defensive master. The guy who beat George Foreman and Ron Lyle, the boxer, who made punchers look stupid. And I was a puncher, the ultimate puncher. And Jimmy was my nightmare. Young was everything Shavers couldn't hit. Slick, defensive, movement, holding, frustration. Jimmy didn't fight, Shavers explained. Jimmy avoided, didn't catch him. Just throwing at air, throwing at ghosts, for 12 rounds, and losing. Clearly, unanimously, embarrassingly. The frustration was unbearable. By round 10, I wanted to quit. Shavers admitted. Not officially, but mentally. I wanted to stop trying. Stop chasing. Stop embarrassing myself. Because Jimmy was making me look like an amateur. Like I didn't belong in the ring with him. Like Earnie Shavers was just a big right hand with no brain. And he was right. That's all I was. And Jimmy exposed it. For 12 rounds. On national television, the loss had devastating consequences. After Jimmy Young, people knew, Shavers said, Earnie Shavers can't beat slick boxers. Can't adjust. Can't adapt. Can't be more than just power. And every opponent after Jimmy used his blueprint. Move. Make Earnie miss. Frustrate him. Win on points. And it worked. For the rest of my career. Because I never learned, never adapted, never became more than just a puncher. And Jimmy Young showed everyone that. And I was scared of Jimmy, scared of what he represented. That boxing beats punching, that skill beats power, that Earnie Shavers is limited, forever. At 78, Shavers' regret was about adaptation. I was scared of Jimmy Young because Jimmy proved I couldn't evolve, couldn't learn, couldn't be more than what I was, just a right hand. And when that right hand didn't work, I had nothing. No jab, no footwork, no plan B, just frustration. And losing. And Jimmy Young showed me that. And I died at 78 knowing I never fixed it, never became a complete fighter, just stayed Earnie Shavers. And Jimmy Young was the first to prove it. And I was scared of him, scared of the truth he showed me. That I was never good enough, just powerful enough. And power isn't enough. Never was. Number 2, Larry Holmes. They fought twice. The 29th of September 1977 and the 10th of November 1978. Both for the heavyweight title. Shavers lost both. Both times, he dropped Holmes. Both times, Holmes survived. Both times, Shavers' nightmare came true. When they made the first Larry Holmes fight, I was confident. Shavers confessed at 78. Larry was 26-0 but hittable. I'd seen him, studied him, knew I could catch him. And I did. Round 1. Dropped him. Good right hand. Larry went down. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to be heavyweight champion. I'm going to knock out Larry Holmes. This is my moment. And then Larry got up. And my nightmare started. Holmes was the jab. The jab. The best jab in heavyweight history. And Shavers had no answer for it. Larry got up from the knockdown and became smart, Shavers explained, cautious, careful. Used that jab, kept me outside, made me miss, made me tired, for 11 more rounds, and I couldn't adjust, couldn't get inside. Couldn't land my right hand clean again. Just chased Larry. 8 jabs. Lost rounds. Lost the fight. Lost my chance at the title. The first fight ended in round 12. TKO. Holmes wins. When they stopped it, I was devastated, Shavers said. Not because I lost. Because of how I lost. I'd dropped Larry in round 1. Had him hurt. And couldn't finish him. And Larry survived. And beat me. And proved something I was scared of. That dropping someone isn't enough. That hurting them isn't enough. That you have to finish them. And I couldn't finish Larry Holmes. And that haunted me. They fought again. 1,978. This time for the WBC title Holmes had won from Ken Norton. The rematch was worse. Shavers admitted at 78. Because I knew what would happen. Knew Larry would survive my power. Knew he'd outbox me. Knew I'd lose. But I took the fight anyway. Because it was for the title, my last chance. And I lost. Again, the same way. Couldn't land clean. Couldn't stop Larry's jab. Couldn't do anything. Just lost. For 11 rounds. Until they stopped it. At 78, Shavers revealed his deepest fear about Holmes. I was scared of Larry Holmes because Larry proved my worst nightmare was true. That you can survive Earnie Shavers' right hand. That you can get dropped by me and get up and win. That power isn't enough. That I needed more than just power. But I never developed it. Never learned to box. Never became complete. Just stayed a puncher. And Larry beat me twice because of it. And I died at 78. Knowing Larry Holmes was my kryptonite. Not because Larry was better, because Larry was smarter. And smart beats powerful. Every time. And I was too dumb to learn that lesson. Even after losing twice. Even after 40 years. I died dumb. Just a puncher. Scared of Larry Holmes. Scared of what he proved. That Earnie Shavers could be beaten by anyone smart enough. And Larry was smart enough. Twice. Number 1. Muhammad Ali. the 29th of September, 1977. New York. Earnie Shavers versus Muhammad Ali. For the WBC, WBA heavyweight titles. The biggest fight of Shavers' life. The fight that haunted him for 45 years, until his death. The Muhammad Ali fight is my biggest fear. Was my biggest fear. Will always be my biggest fear, Shavers said at 78, sobbing, weeks before his death. Not because I lost. Because of what I didn't do. Round 2. I hit Ali with the hardest punch I ever threw. Ali's brain shut off. His eyes rolled back. His legs went. He was gone. Finished. Done. And I had 3 seconds. 3 seconds to finish Muhammad Ali. To become heavyweight champion. To achieve my dream. And I hesitated. And Ali survived. And I lost. And I've been scared of that moment for 45 years. Scared of my own hesitation. Scared of my own humanity. Scared that I'm a coward. Not a champion. Ali was 55-2. 35 years old. Past his prime, but still the greatest. Still the champion. Still Muhammad Ali. Round 2. I caught Ali clean. Shavers remembered, his voice shaking. Perfect right hand. Ali's whole body went stiff. His eyes weren't there anymore. He was on autopilot, survival mode, instinct, and I had him, really had him. And I thought, if I hit him again, I might kill him. Muhammad Ali might die. In the ring. On national television. From my punch. And I didn't want that. Didn't want to be the man who killed the greatest. So I hesitated. 1 second. And Ali survived. That 1 second of hesitation cost Shavers everything. Ali survived round 2, Shavers said, tears streaming. And rounds 3 through 15, Ali boxed. Moved. Made me miss. Made me tired. Won every round. Beat me clearly. Unanimously. And took my dream. Because I hesitated. Because I was too scared to finish him. Too worried I'd kill him. Too human. And humanity doesn't win championships. Killers win championships. And I wasn't a killer. I was Earnie Shavers, the puncher who was scared. Scared of his own power. Scared of what it could do. Scared of killing Muhammad Ali. For 45 years, Shavers carried the guilt and fear. After Ali, people asked me, Shavers said at 78, barely able to speak. Why didn't you finish him? You had him. And I couldn't answer honestly, because the honest answer was shameful. I hesitated because I was scared. Scared of killing Ali. Scared of the responsibility. Scared of being the man who ended the greatest's life. And that fear cost me everything. The heavyweight championship, the glory, the legacy, everything. Because I was too scared to be a killer. Too scared to do what champions do. At 78, dying from cancer and CTE, Earnie Shavers' final confession was devastating. I'm dying now, Shavers whispered. The 1st of September 2022, his final days, cancer, CTE. Brain damage from 89 fights, from Ali, from Holmes, from everyone. And as I'm dying, I'm thinking about one moment. Round 2, the 29th of September, 1977. New York. Muhammad Ali, helpless. Brain shut off, eyes rolled back. And me, Earnie Shavers, the hardest puncher in boxing history, hesitating. Being scared. Scared of my own power. Scared of killing Ali. Scared of being a champion. Because champions don't hesitate, champions finish, champions kill. And I didn't. I hesitated. And Ali survived. And I lost. And I've been scared of that moment ever since. Scared that I'm a coward. Scared that I chose Ali's life over my championship. Scared that I was too weak. Too human. Too scared. And I'm dying with that fear. The fear that Earnie Shavers, the hardest puncher ever, was scared. Of 7 fighters. But most of all, scared of myself. scared of what I could do, scared of being a killer. And that fear cost me everything. My title, my legacy, my peace, and I'm dying with it. At 78, still scared, still regretting, still wondering, what if I hadn't been scared? What if I'd finished Ali? What if I'd been a killer instead of just a puncher? I'll never know, because I was too scared to find out. And I'm dying scared. Forever. Earnie Shavers died the 1st of September 2022. 78 years old. Cancer. CTE. Brain damage. Unfinished business. 74 wins. 68 knockouts. 92% KO ratio. The hardest puncher in boxing history. Never heavyweight champion. George showed me I avoided equal power. Joe showed me I was scared of pressure and toughness. Jerry showed me I needed the knockout, or I'm nothing. Ken showed me I'm limited without my right hand. Jimmy showed me I can't adapt. Larry showed me twice that surviving my power beats having power. And Ali showed me I was scared of myself, scared of my own power, scared of being a killer, scared of finishing, scared of being champion. 7 fighters, 7 fears. But the biggest fear was me. Earnie Shavers was scared of Earnie Shavers. Scared of what he could do, what he should do, what champions do, and I couldn't do it. Because I was too scared. 7 boxers, 7 fears, but only one that destroyed him. Himself, his hesitation, his humanity. Round 2, against Ali. The moment Earnie Shavers chose compassion over championship. What was I most scared of? Shavers whispered, his dying words. Not George's power, not Joe's pressure, not Larry's jab, not Ali's greatness. I was scared of me, of being a killer, of doing what it takes, of finishing. And that fear cost me everything. Finally, I can stop being scared, stop wondering, stop regretting. Rest now, Earnie. You were powerful, you were human, you were scared, and maybe that's okay. Maybe choosing Ali's life over your championship was right. Maybe being too human to be a killer is noble. Maybe. But you'll never know. Because you died scared. Died wondering. Died regretting. That you were the hardest puncher in history. And the most scared. Forever. Earnie Shavers closed his eyes. For the last time. The 1st of September 2022. The faces remained. George's equal power. Joe's toughness. Jerry's chin. Ken's boxing. Jimmy's movement. Larry's survival. Ali's helplessness. And the hesitation. 1 second. Round 2. The moment Earnie Shavers was too scared to be champion. Forever.